Last week we set out from Poole and sailed all night to the delightful Roscoff. Winds and tide set us on a course to cruise around the Cote de Granit Rose, kicking off at Treguier. This week we soak up some sun-drenched beaches, hike a part of their coast path, anchor up on the river to Treguier before escaping through the fog and the rocks. We'll happily confess that we were too chicken to sail into one of its many tidally closed ports last season, but this time we felt that we should keep pushing ourselves, do some careful planning and open up some of the best locations that Brittany has to offer. The port at Treguier is perfect for the beach, but it's not so great for popping out to grab a croissant. The town itself sits at the top of a pretty decent hill, and if you need to do some bigger provisioning, it's a further 20 minutes up to the Intermarché. The upside though is a location for delicious sunsets, a soft wide beach for eating ice cream and swimming, and crazily weathered pink granite formations. Fully recharged, we waited to pick up the flood tide headed west to Treguier, another drying harbour. This meant exiting Treguier with enough water over the sill and picking up one of their free waiting moorings to wait for the tide.
Okay, let's go! Okay, thanks. Yeah, got it.
We negotiated our way past the many rocks and islets that guard Treguier and began the beat to Treguier, aiming to arrive just as the rising tide opened up the harbour. What wind speed have we got?
Tacking.
Fairly narrow window, between 1 to 3 hours either side of high water, when the harbour sill is open. We didn't have time to take in Les Sept-Îles this time, making sure we squeezed into a berth on the very busy visitors' pontoon. Cruising in Brittany is a veritable bargain compared to the southwest of the UK. At Perros it was already a steal, and that was before they threw in a 3 nights for 2 offer, which just would have been daft to refuse. There are a host of lovely restaurants by the harbour, along with a couple of bakeries and convenience stores. But if you want a wider choice, you'll need to make the 20-minute walk up the hill to Perros town centre, where you'll find a small carrefour and also a lovely fishmonger's. We took full advantage of our free marina night by catching the bus right next to the harbour all the way to Pluminac. From here we'd hike along the coast path back to Perros. The rock formations and colours are not like anything I've seen before, and the walk ends at the beach at Perros, ready for an ice cream or a cocktail. Highly recommended. We waited for the sill to open at Perros and again waited for the favourable tide on the waiting moorings by the headland. We enjoyed a light wind run to the Grand Pass approaches for the river entrance. Finally, it was time to put our big boy pants on and tackle Treguier for the first time. The tales of the various rock-strewn passages into the river and the strong currents that wait to catch out unsuspecting skippers at the marina were front and centre in our minds. It wasn't neeps and the slack tide that night was quite late, so we made a plan to anchor on the river overnight before approaching the marina at slack tide the following day. I've included a time-lapse showing virtually the full run up the river. I couldn't find many on YouTube, so I hope this is useful. Friends from our club had found a wonderful anchoring location just upriver from buoy number 7. This would be our target for tonight. Once we'd found our marker, we did an initial soundings run just out of the main channel, but with enough space from the dropping bank when the tide runs out. You can see that there is ample space inside of the number 7 buoy. The holding was good and we actually had one of the best nights at anchor here. However, we weren't getting complacent. When you see the tide screaming past, you know that big forces are at play, so we let out plenty of scope on the chain and settled in. flood tide coming to an end, we lifted anchor with about 45 minutes to go before slack tide, giving us plenty of time to enjoy a slow cruise upriver to Treguier. Paid really close attention to the marked channel, despite the distraction of beautiful houses and countryside as we approached Treguier. Called the marina in plenty of time, and sure enough the excellent team met us as we approached the waiting pontoon and guided us to our berth. No drama, no stress, the pilot book had yet again earned its cover fee. Treguier is definitely worth the effort to get up here. This ancient walled medieval town with its history as a religious hub has plenty to see, and many restaurants to serve the visitors. We enjoyed a few days soaking up the culture of this sleepy countryside town before heading back out to sea. Still heading east, we knew we'd have to face some foul tide to fight our way to St. Key. What we didn't count on was a foggy start to the morning. The sea conditions were initially calm, and we decided to make use of our chart plotter and its GPS to navigate through the Pas de la Gaine. The boats ahead of us dipped in and out of view in the fog as we worked our way out before breaking south for St. Key. With periods of wind against tide, the seas chopped up and we slogged through. But eventually the clouds broke as we reached St. Key, and we were met by another efficient marina team to get us located for the night. We'd visited last year in the rain, so had left with a tainted view, but it's amazing what a bit of sun can do to change one's opinion of a place. Next time we begin closing the loop via San Malo and the Channel Islands to head home. Strong winds would trap us all in St Helier before we could enjoy a brief anchoring and exploration of Sark on our way home. Thanks again for watching us, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe.